New this morning, Jeb Bush addressing his back-and-forth sparring with Donald Trump after the final GOP debate of 2015. The former Florida governor directly attacked Trump's policy and called him, quote, a chaos candidate. Bush continued his rhetoric against the GOP frontrunner during his appearance on CNN's New Day.
It's not really a debate, it's a performance. You have to take the moment to be able to say what you want to say rather than answer the question. I was brought up in a family where someone asks you a question, you answer it. You got to avoid you really have to be respectful of the question, but get to the point you want to make. And in the case of Donald Trump, he's a bully. Look, you guys interview him all the time. He has his way, and to post up against him a little bit and push back, you get a sense of, he's not quite all in command. Look, Donald Trump's not going to be president of the United States by insulting every group on the planet, insulting women, POWs, war heroes, Hispanics, disabled, African Americans. You can't insult your way to the presidency, and I think people have to stand up against that. Look, people are angry. They have lots of anxiety for good reason, but preying on that is not how you win. You have to give people a sense that we can fix these big complex things, both in foreign policy and our domestic economy.
The Bush campaign also took to Twitter following his debate performance, writing, quote, Jeb put the Donald in his place and showed he's the only candidate prepared to lead as commander-in-chief. And in Jeb Bush's case, it wasn't just what he said, it was how he said it. Last night, we saw a noticeably feistier and more confident Jeb Bush.
He's a very nice person, but we need tough people. We need toughness. We need intelligence, and we need tough. Jeb said when they come across the southern border, they come as an act of love.
You said in September 30th that ISIS was not a
Am I
not
talking or are you talking, Jeb?
I'm talking right now. I'm talking.
You can go back. You're not talking. You interrupted me,
September 30th,
Are you going to
you said
apologize, Jeb? No. Am I allowed to finish?
Yes, one at a time.
Excuse me. Am I allowed to finish?
Go ahead, Mr. Trump.
So,
little of your
again,
own medicine there.
I know you're trying to build
Bush,
up your energy,
please,
Jeb, but it's not working
one at a time.
Okay, with me now, body language expert Tonya Reiman. Tonya, a more confident Jeb Bush this time?
You know, at times he is more confident, and you could see that really shining through. But 90% of the time, he has this smile on his face, this nervous grin that says, I'm really not feeling that strong right now. So he does jab back, and with this interaction, here's the deal. Nobody puts Trump in his place, especially not Jeb Bush. Trump can't be put in his place because he doesn't feel like he has a place to be put into. He doesn't have a box.
So what's the secret in, foiling Donald Trump then?
You have to just go toe-to-toe and be prepared to take whatever hit you're going to get and be prepared with your information. Here's his weakness. He doesn't have the information. All he has is his tactics on how to cut somebody else down. So once you get to the point, well, stop saying that you're just going to put smart people in and tell me what you're going to do, he becomes flustered. And one of the things we learned last night is when he does get called out on something, that's when you see he gets a little flustered and a little bit deer in the headlights.
I think Rand Paul did a good job on that when he questioned Trump on the Constitution. Okay, here's another example. Ben Carson, he was much more animated last night. Especially when he was describing his foreign policy ideas.
Yes.
And his hand gestures were much more wild. Let's watch.
Could you wage war as a commander-in-chief?
Well, interestingly enough, you should see the eyes of some of those children when I say to them, we're going to have to open your head up and take out this tumor. They're not happy about it, believe me. And they don't like me very much at that point. But later on, they love me. Sometimes I sound like him. Later.
Yeah, see, to me, that wasn't him being more animated. That was him avoiding the question. The one thing I have to say about him that he improved on is we've spoken about how he constantly keeps his eyes closed. And last night, I only saw that like once or twice. I think he did really well. I think he's been practicing, and I think that's really helped him to become more able to carry out the conversation as opposed to having to close his eyes and think through that thought.
Interesting. Yeah. So Donald Trump did find himself in an uncomfortable position because a member of the audience, there were 1,400 people in the audience. Yeah. Some of them booed him at times. Others heckled him. Let's watch.
In my opinion,
go ahead, Mr. Trump.
In my opinion, we've spent $4 trillion trying to topple various people that, frankly, if they were there and if we could have spent that $4 trillion in the United States to fix our roads, our bridges, and all of the other problems, our airports, and all of the other problems we have, we would have been a lot better off. I can tell you that right now.
Okay, so you could barely hear the heckling, but it was much louder probably inside the Venetian, right?
And so what does he do? Immediately he does his lip purse, you know, that look, and then he does a contemptuous look. So what that lip purse, when somebody goes like that to you, what that's indicative of is, you know, mental resistance. I completely disagree with what you're saying, which was, of course, the audience member heckling him. And then in addition, he lifts his chin up in that superiority gesture, which he has now mastered, but he still gets lost. You see that there's like a point where he's not kicking through.
It would be hard not to get lost when someone's telling
agree.
you, frankly. I got to leave it there. Tonya Reiman, thanks for stopping by. Always enjoy it. Still to come in the newsroom. Our Republicans throwing a party now that Donald Trump says he is sticking with the grand old party.